I'm Brian Christner, and this is The Byte, a bite-sized podcast about containers, cloud, and tech. Welcome back to The Byte. In this episode, we're going to talk about my-netdata.io. It's a very lightweight Linux monitoring application, and I must say it is absolutely amazing. I mean, considering how lightweight this little application is, it blows you away. First, the granularity is per second. You just have to install the binary on any application, so they make it very easy. You can install it in a Docker container, obviously my preference. You can install it on Mac, you can install it on any type of Linux, Synology, on Kubernetes clusters, etc. I mean, they make it extremely easy to get up and running. Also, they design it to get unlimited metrics. So you can get all sorts of things about the CPU, storage, memory, and it's all real-time information. It works, if you're familiar with it, like the C Advisor from Google, it works in similar ways. So once you start this binary, it actually starts collecting, it starts sending the statistics real-time. So that's something interesting about Netdata is it does not store information, it only displays information in real time. And on top of that, it provides you a real interactive web dashboard, which is really amazing because what it does is it collects the metrics, it displays it, you can make some alarms based on this, visualize it, archive, and then if you want to store it, you need some sort of database where you send the metrics to. But Netdata out of the box does not do that. Now, if you go on the Netdata website, they have a demo site, and I'm going to jump into London, for example. And the dashboard only wakes up once you open it. So in essence, it's sitting idle, it's sitting in the background, it's not doing much, but once I open it up, it's a real-time graph and I see all the statistics for this London installation. So I can see CPU, load disk, I mean, I can just see tons and tons of information here. Now what's really amazing is I can then see on the right-hand side all the different possibilities that are available within this monitoring tool. And I can jump right into, for example, MySQL or Docker Hub, and it takes me directly to these graphs, and I can see how many pools of Netdata are accumulating, star status on GitHub. I mean, it provides a lot of information. I can add my own custom charts, and what I find the most useful here is we can then share this information. So we can actually embed these dashboards into our application. Now, you may ask yourself, okay, what's the real use of this? Well, think about it. You don't have to create your own dashboards. You don't need to write your own tools to actually gather all these metrics. You just run this on your server and it provides a dashboard. You then take this information and you embed it into your application. I mean, how easy is that? I find the application is very straightforward. I mean, the amount of information you get from it is just phenomenal. It's extremely lightweight. So if I actually look about the statistics about it, it's saying you need 1% of one CPU core. So I mean, pretty much nothing, right? And 1 megabyte of RAM and no storage. So tell me about that. I mean, it's really, if you look at it, it's minimal. I mean, it just runs as a small little binary and it sends all this information, which is overwhelming when you start looking at these dashboards. Now the use case I find is, okay, obviously I can run this on my servers and collect it and pump it into like Prometheus and Grafana and like make a central dashboard. Or think about it like something like Raspberry Pi or IoT, which has a very small amount of memory and CPU power. This would be a perfect monitoring agent for something like this. Think about the possibilities that we can actually monitor IoT devices without overwhelming them with some sort of monitoring agent. Now, if I look through some of these graphs, you can jump into application data. You can see exactly CPU information regarding the applications. I can then see Nginx. I can see my disks, memory, networking stack. I can jump into my TCP stack and see, how many aborts on TCP, accepted IPv4 networking. So I can see sockets used, packets, errors, ICMP, Then it jumps down to IPv6, network interfaces, firewalls, systemd interfaces, and it opens up each of these little graphs and it tells you everything there is about this specific process or this application. And what's brilliant is it allows you to then see all the statistics about this particular application. For example, in networking, I can see how much CPU, memory, and disk that the systemd processes use or the networking stack uses. I can then jump down to like Nginx and I can see, oh wow, I have responses. I can see how many responses, bandwidth, URLs that are actually being requested. And then I can pipe these into a proper graph. Now, if I could jump all the way down at the bottom, I can see I can add more charts. Takes me to the GitHub, and it provides all sorts of additional charts that you can see. For example, I can see that I can interface to web servers, load balancers, DHCP, print servers, sensors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you go to GitHub, you can see there add more charts to Netdata features. But what I like about it is honestly the dashboard. It's super straightforward. I mean, you go to their website, Netdata.io, and you can actually jump into the different regions. So it shows London, Atlanta, California. And once you click on there, I mean, it just overwhelms you with the amount of data that's possible to see from these little agents. And the brilliant thing, as I keep on saying, is it's small, lightweight. You can stream the data, you can collect it. It also has alarming functionality. The dashboards are extremely useful, and you can embed them. So I don't know how much more we can go in here, but it has quite the following. So I mean, if you look on GitHub, you can see, or actually the active unique users, there's 1.2 million active users. There's 718,000 monitored servers, and it says Netdata sessions served 28 million. So, and it has quite the following. I mean, it's not a new kid on the block for any means. I've been following this for a few years now, and I've used it for a couple projects. It works very well, stable, secure. They provide lots of updates. So if you get a chance, I recommend heading over to my-netdata.io. It's a simple binary. You can install it on your Mac with brew install Netdata, or you can clone the repo, start it that way, curl, and provide it this way, run in a Docker container. They provide all these different ways to run it. And then you access the dashboard locally on port 19999, and then you can see all these wonderful dashboards. Give it a try, give us some feedback and let us know. And that's all for today's episode. Have a great one. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Byte. You can find the show notes at thebyte.io and follow me on Twitter at IDoMyOwnTricks.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.